We're joined here with Riders head coach for soccer, Charles Inverso. Charles, pleasure meeting you.
Thanks.
Right,
Thanks for having me here.
Let's talk about the new season. Obviously, we're a couple of games in. What did the last season? How did you prepare for this new season compared to last season?
This year is a completely different year because we have one senior, two juniors, and of the two juniors, one of them is a transfer. Mm-hmm. So our team is predominantly freshmen and sophomores, and so our preparation isn't all that much different. It's just the fact that we're just adjusting to so many new faces. Mm-hmm. Probably I would estimate about 14 new faces of the 24 guys on the team. So I mean that in itself takes a lot of preparation, a lot of adjusting, for the guys to get used to each other. But so far, it's worked out pretty well. Considering we started August 16th, it seems like we've been together for 3 years already. But so far, things have gone fairly well. With the new players adjusting to each other.
What kind of philosophy do you kind of sort of use to bring the team together and build teamwork and enforce that?
Well, I mean, our philosophy of playing is we want to keep possession of the ball. Mm-hmm. We want to be looking to go forward without trying to squeeze soccer into places where it shouldn't be played. We're not trying to force balls. We don't want our defenders playing balls out of the back. If there's nothing to play it through, no one to play it through in the midfield. But our philosophy of playing is to try to keep possession of the ball with the intention of getting behind them and scoring. There's possession without scoring. A lot of times teams just play possession and they're not getting behind. We're trying to really emphasize, getting that last pass in, getting behind the defense, and I think probably the biggest difference between this year and previous years is we have some quick guys up front that can get behind defenders, and that has made a big difference. And then when we lose possession, our idea is to try to make a quick transition, both mentally and physically, to defense to try to get the ball back.
You mentioned that. That's one thing I noticed. I was at the game before the last. You played against LIU Brooklyn, I believe,
right? And
you guys won 2-1. And that's one of the biggest things that I noticed is how quick and how disciplined your players were compared to last year. You have I looked up online. You have about 11 new freshmen.
Yeah.
How do you integrate that into the team? Because I noticed a good number of them actually for European players. How does that happen?
Yeah, I mean, and everyone's got a different way of playing, but everyone likes to play when you're trying to keep possession of the ball. I mean, no one wants to just lump long balls forward. No one wants to bypass the midfield, and so we spend a lot of time. We spend a lot of time playing. We spend a lot of time trying to get our guys to play under pressure. So we might play a 9 versus 9, 11 versus 11 on a half field, or sometimes even smaller, with the idea that every time the player gets a ball in training, that he's under pressure, so that when it happens to him in a game, it doesn't faze them as much. Okay. So I think we have guys that are good at better at holding the ball in tight space, and trying to integrate the guys in. I mean, there's no magic formula for that other than time, and the more that we play in training together as a unit, the better we become adjusted to that.
Due to the different cultures that you have in there, what's the biggest difference have you noticed in the locker room in terms of like music, or are there any Justin
I
Bieber
hate the
fans?
music they play in the locker room, and they hate my music. And we had a little contest at the beginning of the year that each player was able to present one song that they wanted for the pregame warm-up. And I said that I've suffered through 2 years of bad music, not only here at Ryder, but on the road. Yeah. So I said that I wanted 7 songs, and for each song, for each game that we won, they can take away one of my songs. So mine is now. I think the culture of music isn't all that much different, and the culture with the European players we have is there's 4 of them. Not much difference at all. I mean, with 2 of the fellows, the language is a little bit of a barrier, but as as they get on with spending more time here, their English gets better. I noticed that their English is getting better and better, and they've adjusted well. And people are people, and soccer players are soccer players, and so it hasn't been an adjustment, or hasn't been much of a problem at all.
Speaking of soccer players, one of your top scorers right now is Christian Flapp. He's from Germany, and he has 11 goals, leading the MWAC.
11 points.
11 points. So they're doing points. What for a midfielder? That's quite an amazing feat. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, and Christian is a really good kicker of the ball. He is 2 of his goals are from penalty kicks, 1 from a free kick, and then he scored from the run of play the other day. His 4 or maybe 5 assists, most of them come from corner kicks and free kicks. So he's a really great. In addition to being a very good center midfielder, he's a really good kicker of the ball. He can really get great placement, great speed up, pace on the ball, and put it in really great spots for our guys.
FIFA 14 rather, came up this week. Have you noticed any changes in the dressing room? Maybe a couple of players talking about it?
They talk about it all the time. They play. I'm not a video game guy. It's just not. I guess it's not my generation.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guys talk about it all the time, and they're playing all the time. So maybe you could tell me more about it.
So I'm not going to expect any sort of like FIFA tournaments going on with you being involved and maybe even winning it.
I don't think I'd be very good at it, to be honest with you. But I know it's such a big thing in this generation. And the thing that amazes me is that there's so many kids that play FIFA that don't follow soccer, don't follow football. I don't know. Maybe you could tell me more. Is there some kind of new version of Messi out there?
Well, they still. It's the same thing. They still regard Messi as one of the best players, second to Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, right.
And it's a very good game. I think I read up about it.
That would be disputed. I'm sorry, that might be disputed.
Who do you think is the best player?
I'm partial to Messi. A little bit partial to Messi.
I feel like I think that if you had a choice between the 2 of them, I think the biggest problem now is we have 2 really good players in one generation. That's never happened before. We'd have like Pele in the 60s. Every single generation has that one player, and we feel like we're being spoiled by having 2.
Pele, there was Pele back there, and Eusebio. There was always a debate, or this is way ago. Alfred Di Stefano. There was always a debate about
George Best.
George Best. Yeah, there was always a debate about that. But yeah, no, it's a good lively debate, and it's obviously depends on who you're partial to. But I mean, Barcelona just kind of swept everyone away with their style of play and the way they do things. But we also got to look at Bayern Munich.
Yeah, they're definitely the upper cup. They have the same coach who was able to bring Barcelona success and stuff. So the similarities.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's a great level to watch.